You, after 18 years of drug use and being in prison, do you feel like you're a societal outcast in some way?
No. Everyone was banking on me to lose. I'm the black sheep. I've been counted out. Remember I said everybody 86 me?
Yeah.
I spent 46 years of my life trying to prove myself, trying to prove that I would do just this. To my family members, to my friends, to my peers, to those at the job site, to everybody. And look, I'm 47, I'm retired, and humbly, I win.
So, like, do you ever show up to a group of people and feel like you're like an imposter? Like you're the ex-drug addict? Like,
No.
something like
Because I have so much time in. I have 15 years with the state. Like people see. So here's the thing. I had 18 years out, but come Wednesday, when's the third? I'll have 17 years in.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been seeing something different for 17 years. Moved to South Sac, Franklin Boulevard, Oak Park, 12th Avenue. The fact I see people shoot heroin up, mix it with their blood, and at a very young age, I seen this stuff. And then as I grew, that's kind of the shit you just seen in the South area. And like I said, it seems just to be tied to every family. Like now I think about it, probably every one of my friends or somebody in their family is probably using. So my best friend's family, they were involved, they were using, they were like drug dealers and stuff like that. So I'm like 12, but for $5, I think we got like $5. We gave him $5. He gave us like a 20 of some stuff. Remember we smoked it on tinfoil. Maybe we did some lines, but we just stood up that whole night. Me, and my other two friends. From that point on, so that's how I got exposed to it. I remember we stood up that whole night. The next day we came down, which was crazy because in my addiction I hardly ever came down. But then that was the beginning, literally, because I remember in junior high, my friend had the plug. His family was the plug. It was easy access. It was my best friend. So, and then you don't feel that feeling no more, that come down. Like I hustled so hard to keep staying high. I wasn't coming down. This shit was a career, you know? So I was just on the go. So yeah, I just had to stay down. And they went from gangs to wanting stuff though. You know, one day my mom was calling me for the phone and I'm sitting here on my bed trying to make baggies. I'm dealing with matches, lighters, I'm smoking a cigarette. Well, she called me from the first door, right? But like I told you, she has to go to 2 doors to get to me. Well, at that point, I was trying to, I don't know if I covered stuff up with blankets or whatever, but she was telling me the phone was for me. So I got up, okay, here I come. So she never made it to me. I went and got the phone and I'm standing out the phone and I'm talking with my boy. My friend was in prison with his girl. I was getting at his girl while he's in prison, right? So I'm talking on the phone, but so 15 minutes into this conversation, my neighbor, he's like, hey, the house is on fire, the house is on fire. The house is on fire. So I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I hang up the phone, I run, I hit the first door, I open the first door, there's washer, dryer, sink. I open the first door, there's like maybe, I open the first door, nothing. I open the second door, hell, the flames came out. So I turned around, I didn't grab nothing. I turned around, my mom was in the shower, she comes out. My aunt lived right across the street from us. So I ran to my aunt's house. My mom comes running across the road in her purse. My little brother, we fucking just sat there. We literally watched the motherfucker burn down. Flames coming out the house, burned like half of it, burned half of the house. Yeah, from that point on, it was like that was like a catapult for me. She ended up kicking me out. Then I didn't get. Then it didn't end my quest to try to hustle. So I ended up just started hustling. So when I came to, then I figured out, oh, a lot of people this is how we're getting by in life. So when I started selling dope, it was kind of good because I ended up, my family was like my clientele, you know, at least the ones that use. And I'd rather have them come to me type of shit, you know? So it was weird, the whole dynamics of that. When I started using how the veil comes down, you're like, oh, your aunt is using it or this person's using it, you know what I'm saying? Then the whole thing comes open. Nobody really wants to fuck me. My cousin, she was just hella loving and accepting. She was kind of like the mother figure I needed at the time, but she let me stay with her. But that again was another like catalyst because I had got tired. I was like 19. I was tired out from, I had been gone stuff, burnt down the house, right? 15, 16. I'm tired, I'm wore out, I'm beat up. I had took acid one day, stood up all night, and that morning, like early in the morning, 5 in the morning, I'm outside of my cousin's house. And I'm crying. I'm like, I'm tired and I want a new life. I just don't know what to do. I'm like powerless almost. And I'm just like, change. Times I went to jail was my only clean time. Sometimes it'd be 60 days, 90 days. So I see this lady walking by, old black lady with a stick on her morning walk. She invites me to church. But we go to a service and I'm touched. And I feel saved. They do an altar call. I go, I want to be saved. We both do it. They take us to the back. They give us the book and stuff like that. I felt something that whole week. Like I was spending time with my little sisters. My young 19, I had called my mom up. And I told her, Mom, I just went to church today. Like, I'm going to change my ways. Can I come back home? And she was like, yeah. And I asked her if I could come back. I was going to church. I was going to try to change my ways and get a job and stuff like that. So I went back, went to church, and people were picking me up Monday, Tuesday, like every day for church. Or I went for like a week. Before I went to church, I had an 8-ball of some dope, and I fronted it to an aunt from another side of the family. And I was like, here, take this. $80. You owe me $80. Going to church, done. So that happened with the church. Well, all week, Sunday though, people that was taking me to church didn't come get me. And then that whole week I didn't smoke cigarettes. Like I had an experience. I really feel like I had an experience, even though it only lasted a week. I really had an experience with God, and it was a trip. But that Sunday, those people didn't pick me up for church, and I was that money. I was like, oh, I need to get that money, which I had knew. I told myself, don't go back for that money, right? But I went back. Called my, hey, you got that money? She's like, yeah, come pick it up. Went and picked up the money, asked her for a cigarette, smoked a cigarette that day, and then that was it. So when my mom let me back in the house, I remember a period, man, where I was doing dope and reading the word. Like, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. Like,
what the fuck?
no, because I was lost. I didn't want to be on dope, but here's like the answers. I'm on drugs. I don't want to be on drugs. Like, was there? I can't look at it. So I used to read the Bible. I used to try to find answers. Like, I wasn't trying to preach it to nobody, but I'd get high and I'd read the Bible and just little by little. I remember at some point I started bowing to my mom and shit. Bowing, like, when I would doubt her. She'd be like, don't do that. Like, quit doing that. Like, you know, I started thinking she was like the Virgin Mary or something. And then it just started.
You were high or what?
I remember, well, because I was getting high at the time. I remember like reading the Bible just like this one day. I remember doing that shit. And the reason I said that is I'm wondering what she was thinking this whole time, if she could see me like losing my mind. Because she would see me, she would try to chase me away because I was like, yeah, I was to stay around there. We had a long ass driveway. I used to be a big fan of Tupac, right? And so when I was high around the streets, all I did was like, I used to listen to music. But as I started like slowly losing my mind, and after I got shot in the face for the second time, I literally started thinking I was Tupac. I remember one day going to the bathroom, shaving all my fucking hair off, like all of it, bald, skin bald. And I remember that day I took off, and I was looking for some dope and shit. And then I was walking down Franklin Boulevard, and these guys pulled up, and anyways, I linked up with these guys that were on the boulevard. I asked them, hey, do you guys know where to get $5 worth of some shit? And they're like, yeah, what's up? You got $5? I'm like, no, I don't got $5, you know. But anyways, they end up they let me get in the car, right? Well, when they got in the car, you really going nowhere. It was just a block right. I hopped in the car to get dope. Mind you, I'm already dealing with psychosis. This thing seemed like a whole movie to me, actually. So when they picked me up, they fucking pulled a gun on one of the guys in the neighborhood, or one of the heroin addict dudes. He's on a bike and they pull a paintball gun on him. And the fucking dude falls off his bike. Well, the cops ended up pulling him over a couple blocks out by the store. I get out the car and I just walk away because I think I'm fucking Tupac, and I'm thinking all this shit's a movie. Like, let me get out of here. I walk away. The cops were dealing with those guys. All right, so look at. Anyways, I walk away from this scene, and then finally the cop comes. I run from him. They end up taking me to a drunk tank. So when I got in there, there's like bums and hobos and people. And I'm like, what? So I'm there, like, how do I get out of here? And people are like, you gotta sober up. And the other people are like, if you want to get out of here, you gotta climb over the fence up there. So I ended up climbing over the fence, which led to the tracks. I took off all my clothes, I think except for my boxers, and I walked all on the tracks. And anyways, I went back home and shit. And like nothing ever happened. 1998, I robbed a house. I went to this space called Methamphetamine psychosis, where I heard voices. It was audio and visual hallucinations. I didn't know about this until 2006, what it was, but I went through this trippy ass phase, and I learned it was methamphetamine psychosis. From a lack of not sleeping and not eating, and just fucking being up, and the methamphetamine. So yeah, so I used to hear voices and act on this shit and do stupid shit. But I stayed right within my little neighborhood because I had pride. I was in school with a lot of people. I was not the most popular, but I knew a lot of people. Like, and so I was embarrassed. So I stood in my little community, cutting up, hiding from people, hiding from my peers and shit like that. And I was on drugs for a long period. But I caught this case for residential burglary, first degree, second degree residential burglary, or first, one of them. I broke in the house. It's in my neighborhood. I'm walking down the house. People drive by, and I hear the voice say, breaking our house. It was Thanksgiving Day. Breaking our house. We know you're out here homeless. We know you need stuff. Go right in. So I acted on that voice, broke into the house, took a bunch of stuff. 6 houses down the same street is my friend's house. I take all the stuff there. The only thing I cared about was this laptop. This was in 98. The laptop back there was like, oh shit, I got this laptop, right? I'm fucked off. I'm hearing voices like just. So I take the laptop. I leave all the stuff there. Well, that place was that was my friend's house, my best friend's house that got shot with me. Went through his neck, hit me in the face. He was in prison on a drug charge. Ed told people around there to keep me away from the house. He didn't want me around there. I used to live with him to kick me out because I was on drugs. He said he loved me too much to keep me around to see me in that space. So he had to cut me loose. So I did that. Well, what happened? What ended up happening is the police went over there. A neighbor seen the whole thing. We take the stuff, walked to my friend's house, and leave it there. Well, the person that was there got arrested, told on me, and then they happened to me for like a week because they were looking for me for a week from that day. Well, after that, I heard more voices. My other friend, come rob my house. He was a dope dealer. Come rob my house. Take what you need. The same kind of voice, the same kind of thing. I went to his house. Looked in his house. I was one jacket away, $3,500. I didn't find the money. I took a bunch of other stuff. I went 2 times back there. I went one time, took a bunch of stuff, and then I went back again, and then I found the drugs, like 52 grams of meth. Found the dope, took a whole bunch of CDs, Bose stuff, a bunch of other stuff. Left on a bike, went and got a motel. He almost caught me. They see me walking on Franklin Boulevard at night, chased me, didn't catch me. I went and got a motel, and I did a lot of drugs. And I really, honestly, I really think I was really bad because then I sit here like voices be like, the devil's on your shirt or the devil's on your shoes. Take off your shoes. You gotta leave your shoes here. And being that I had a lot of pride and I knew a lot of people and I was really embarrassed to be in addiction, I just did a little area where I could hide in my little neighborhood in little places. You know, I try not to go to the store too much so I wouldn't see people from high school and shit like that. But in those spaces where I would take off my shirt, you would literally probably see my clothes all around the neighborhood. Be like, take that shirt off, it has demons on it or the devil's on it. So I would take off the shirt. There was a point where I bought this bike off a friend. And the voice was like, you gotta take the seat off the bike because demons and shit, hella different spirits have been on the seat. I take the seat off the bike. I'll fucking run around the neighborhood, mobbing this motherfucker around with no seat, right? I mean, that's me. I have to stand up the whole time riding the bike. I heard another voice. I had all that dope and I heard a voice say, if you don't throw the dope away, you're gonna die, right? So I went to the railroad tracks. It was almost like an ounce. And I fucking just drew it. I had it in the middle of a medicine bottle and I drew it. Man, the next day, they fucking rained. I was kicking it with the OG. And I said, I went back. Look at down day, it was still bouncing. Some of it was still wet and shit. But
like at this time I know you're high as fuck, but do thoughts of like quitting or getting clean like come or no?
No, thoughts of losing it or dying are coming. I didn't even think about getting clean.
Was dying not related to like the drug use? No.
I felt like there's like the evilness, like you're gonna get killed, like you're gonna die. Like I felt that's like I honestly in this space I tell you I really feel like it was a spiritual battle. You know what I'm saying? Now that I look back, that's just wicked. That's just hella evil. And the shit in the mind space I was in, you know? So that in 99 I went to prison. From 99 to 2001. And I ultimately thought it was it for me. When I was in prison, I was like, this is it. Like I finally got the footing I needed. I got a couple years under my belt. In prison I only smoked weed a couple times. I was offered meth. I didn't have no desire to use meth. When I came home for the first year, I didn't have no desire. But I think now I know I'm an alcoholic. Back then I didn't know. But I came home drinking. But I think that has something to do with it. Because after a while, what I learned when I was sober, when I quit meth and started just trying to drink, the last time I drank in 2009, I wanted to get high. That's when I ultimately quit drinking. I was like, oh, fuck, forget that. It's just gonna make me want to get high. So I was like, I am an alcoholic. And they have a saying in AA where at the bottom of every can is a bag of dope. It's the same for me. I won't turn it off until my body shuts down. Like, that's how I am with shit. Like,
so you came out of prison, first year you're not using, and so did you go back to using though?
I went back to using, selling dope, and just kind of fit myself back in.
Right back to the same thing. Like,
but
when you came out of prison, did you get a job? You got a job or no?
No.
And so you're back to using by the time you get a job, like a real job.
Oh yeah, I'm using, I'm drinking, I'm selling dope, I have workplace filled up.
Do you think that if you would have gotten a job out of prison, that would have helped you turn your life around? Nah. All right.
But then I got caught for that residential burglary. And there seemed like no way out. Because what ended up happening was, okay, I went through the psychosis, right? While I'm riding the bike with no seat and I'm fucking bowing to my mom and I'm thinking I'm Tupac and doing all this stuff. There's really no way out. I don't have no home, I don't have no job. There's literally no way out. The way I got out, and I'll tell you, the way I got clean, I prayed to get clean. I prayed, it took me 18 years of prayer to get clean. I used for 18 years. And I ain't gonna lie, at least for 13 of those years, I had to be praying that shit away. I ain't gonna lie. It was cool for 3 years, 4 years, but it wasn't cool after that shit. And especially coming in tune, you know, your mom's doing it, your aunt's on it, your uncle's in it, it's just a part of everything, right? Yeah, after 3 or 4 years, I didn't want to be on it. But there was no possible way for me to get clean. No possible way. I don't believe there was. Besides through the path that took me, through jails and institutions and situations. That's how I got clean, ultimately. Like I said, I prayed my way here. I think prayer ultimately is what got me clean. And what prayer did was set me up and position me with my ex-wife, which ultimately ushered into my sobriety. Because I ended up cheating on her, right? And what came out of that was an ultimatum: go get clean. Go get clean, we can work this marriage out. At that time, I had a state job, so I didn't really have nothing to live for back then. What did I have to get clean for? In this space, I cheated on my wife. I have a state job. I got finances. I have 2006, no, we don't own a home yet, but I have stuff to live for now. I have a daughter that's 6 months. My son's 3 years old, and she's telling me, get clean and we can work this out.
Yeah, you're about to lose it all, basically.
When she gave me the ultimatum, I already knew what the end result would be if I didn't take the ultimatum. She's telling me, hey, get clean, we can work this marriage out. I valued that marriage. I was like, let's go, let's do it. coming down in August, October, I set something up. I went and got it. My job actually would pay for it. I told you I went straight to my supervisor. I told him I'm on drugs, I'm drinking, I need help. Because I had checked through our rule book.
Yeah.
I talked to my union rep and went through all my proper things before I went to my supervisor. This is kind of help I need. And then I did that. I went through the proper channels, went to filled out the paperwork, went through the building manager, and did that.
Had you never been to rehab before, prior to this? No. Oh shit.
In jail, they used to make us go to AA and shit. That's the only exposure I had to getting clean. And that's why I tell you, I wouldn't have been able to do it out there hadn't it been for these unfortunate events. That's what happened. You know, like a mentor I once had says, you know, you can fail your way to success, right? Failure's not a bad thing. I know it's not. I tell my kid to embrace it, but yeah, you can fail your way to success. And that's eventually what happened. I failed my way to success because it was something burning in me. That light was burning stronger than the light that wanted to get high, obviously. But so when she gave me the ultimatum, that was the break I needed. That vision I had of breaking the cycle, I wanted to really do it with her. That was so the vision was owning a home, to a marriage in the household, because I came from a single parent home. So I was like, nah. I was like, I gotta get married. I want to own a home, and I gotta get these kids away from fucking sexual predators and fucking drugs. So that was the whole thing, was to just basically break the cycle. We were married. It just fucking, so that was it. I had the job. I had everything to live for. I think I had everything to live for. It was perfect timing. And so when she said get clean, I came out here, went to a program. I stayed in the program for 5 months. In the program, in that 5 months, so 2 months, 30 days, like 14 days blackout, another 15 days like strict stuff. And then you go to your meetings and stuff in there, and eventually you get to come home on the weekends and get passes. Well, I do 2 months there. I passed all my little stuff with flying colors. I got a sponsor. I'm working with a sponsor. From there, I go to their men's house. They have a men's house at the time. From there, I go to their men's house. I do 3 more months there. So 5 months altogether recovery. 2 in-house, 2 out. 3 out. So the whole time while I'm in rehab, we have a home. I stood out here. I was like, I'm staying out here. And that was like the best thing ever. Yeah, so I came out here and got clean. I don't know nobody out here. Yeah. Which was the beauty of it, because I didn't want to be around anybody.
Mm-hmm. What about your family and shit? Are you still seeing your family though? Because
a lot of people died, got old, can't use for health reasons. Like,
can you tell me again how long you're using for?
From the age of 12 to 30, which is I think 18 years. 18 years. October 3rd, I'll have 17. Man, I'm right there next to the eve. I'm gonna eve on my and it flew by. But hey, yeah.
What was like the most helpful thing when you were trying to get clean?
Program we used to do. Had like structured errors. You had to clean your room. You had to make your bed. You had there was like rules. That shit was just cool. We kind of ran it. We cooked. We all walked to AA. So it wasn't small, but we all walked to AA together. Like that. We did sports. Remember one time we walked to play softball? And I cried. It was probably there like a month, but we were playing softball at a park, and I was just crying. I was like, I just felt like a kid, but coming to realizing how much shit that I have been missing out on. Like, just a simple thing is going out and playing softball and shit with a bunch of addicts and shit like that. Like I said, the big book, the big blue book, that's a good book. Having a sponsor, I think, is crucial, because they're gonna want to make you do a bunch of uncomfortable shit. And if you can't do uncomfortable shit, then you're not gonna be able to be sober, because being sober is gonna take being hella uncomfortable for a long period of time. And I want people to see me in the eye, because look, they say in order for a person to be really sober, you gotta be sober for 5 years.
That was something else I wanted to ask you. After 18 years of drug use and being to prison, do you feel like you're a societal outcast in some way? Or something like that?
Hell no. I think of myself more like a breadwinner. Everyone was banking on me to lose. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? What they say? I'm the black sheep. I've been counted out. Remember, I said everybody 86 me.
Yeah.
What was your question again? Because it fires me up.
Do you feel like a societal outcast after using drugs for 18 years?
No. But I felt like my sobriety and all my achievements gave me the stage to start like, fuck you guys. I knew it. Like, and you know what? I've even learned last year to let that down. I spent 46 years of my life trying to prove myself, trying to prove that I would do just this to my family members, to my friends, to my peers, to those at the job site, to everybody. And look, I'm 47, I'm retired, and humbly, because life has been a fucking competition for me. And humbly, I win. That's it.
But like, do you ever show up to a group of people and feel like you're like an imposter, like you're the ex-drug addict, like something like that? Like, do you ever go places and you're like, oh fuck, I'm like the guy right now?
You know why? I have so much time in. I have 15 years with the state. Like people see. So here's the thing. I had 18 years out, but come Wednesday, when's the third? I'll have 17 years in. Mm. So they've been seeing something different for 17 years.
Mm. Did that take a while for you to get to that point, or you were always like that? You were just like, you know?
No. So here's the thing. Is getting sober, bro. You always feel that people are waiting for the shoe to drop. You know, it's like being in the spotlight, especially around people that are that haven't got sober, that want that desire that too, and they're sitting going around going, fuck, he's really doing it. And what they do is they turn that energy and they try to go like this. I don't see what you're doing. They won't acknowledge you and shit. Because the energy I felt is what I perceive what was happening, is that I know a lot of people out there are still using it. I have people, and as I'm getting clean, the energy I felt is like they're waiting for the shoe to drop. And the more that the shoe didn't drop, the more that they have to accept that this shit is manifesting. Ernesto really is whatever. But I spent my whole life trying to prove